How y'all doing today? My name's Ayin, and today's topic of discussion is going to be putting people in a box. You're asking for conflict. Excuse me. Putting people in a box. You're asking for conflict. Now, when I'm thinking about this topic, this actually crossed my mind as I'm saying the topic of this video. I actually discussed this a little bit in my book, Kilimanjaro's The Arithmetic of Family Communication. It's under the chapter header of fathers. And I'm talking about how sometimes people put people in a box and they make them two-dimensional figures, and you devolve everything that they are into something, one or two traits that you just may see. Oh, this person is, only good for this. Well, this person, they're only good to, they only know about this. That's all that they're good for. We're complex people, all of us. A lot of the times, people do just get the majority of what you show to them. But it's a lot more that makes you up. We're all special. Like I said, we're all complex. There's a lot of different layers that go into making us up for who we are. Excuse me. And when you go to putting people in a box and just devolving them to one set of opinions, one way of thinking, and you're dealing with them in that aspect, you're asking for conflict. The reason why you're asking for conflict is because you begin treating them a certain type of way on all things, because that's all that you think that they're there for. And then for other things outside of that box, because I can assure you there's things outside of that box that you put them in that you just thought, this is all that they are. You're going to apply their ways of thinking with the things that you've put into that box to all things, and you'll start treating them a certain type of way and just kind of assume that they feel certain types of ways on all things because of the things that you're pulling out of the box on. This is all it is to you, and you're asking for conflict. This is how you get a rise out of people in situations that you didn't know that they had. Or this is a lot of times when you get shut down or you get put in your place because you thought that you knew it all. Now, I know that I talked about this in a few of my other videos when I've said there's people in my circle where they're so overbearing and they're just so opinionated. A lot of the times, I don't even go down a path of discussing things that I may be relatively knowledgeable about, because I'm just like, I don't even feel like dealing with it. So throughout the relationship, since this is something that they've tackled and talked about, and I just not had any input on, they just think, they start putting me in a box on, since not saying anything up on it, I'm showing him something. I'm imparting some knowledge up to him. And it has been some instances where I have, let on, or maybe depending on whatever it is that they were talking about, maybe I felt the need to say something because, you are in my inner circle and we are having a conversation. Maybe I just, maybe they, I'm not really saying got a rise out of me. Maybe it was a call to the situation to where it was just like, I'm going to say something on this. And I've actually had them be shocked. And it's just like, well, what do you know? Or, when I brought insight or a different perspective to the situation, and you can see that they've never thought about it like that, but I think they're more so thinking from the standpoint of, man, how is he having an opinion up on this? And it has been a few times where it has been some altercations, not physical, but verbal, because it's just like, man, I want to tackle this some more. And then, and I've said what I've said up on it. And then a lot of the times it's basically come down to on, whatever it is that you're talking about that you think that I don't have any experience in, I have firsthand experience in this. What you're saying, this is just not entirely true for all situations, because I'm standing here telling you whatever it is that you're talking about, there's a different side to this. You're thinking there's only one side to this, but I'm letting you know, I'm living proof that there's another side to this situation. And, depending on who you're talking to and who you're dealing with, sometimes people don't take difference of opinion well, especially when they're really opinionated, or when you're dealing with a know-it-all that just thinks that they know that when they think that they know everything about every every topic, every subject, especially if you've never voiced anything before. It can be mind-boggling to them. It can be a humbling experience. I've talked about that in other videos. So, and it's because they put me in a box. A lot of times, like I'll say this, for example, to kind of flesh this out a little bit more. More so when I'm thinking about this, since I've been a person to, especially when it comes to friendships, a lot of my friends are older, just older people in general, because I value experience, and that's just what's been around me in my life. I've just had older people in my life, so a lot of the times some friendships would be dependent on this mentoring portion of the relationship, especially since there's such a wide gap in years between us. It was more so of them coming into my life, of me being a teenager or a young man, and they were always used to important things to me, especially things that I didn't know. But one of the things that they've missed out in, and they may acknowledge to a degree, or I have had where they've acknowledged, you've grown into a fine young man, we got to see a lot of this grow, but through that growth, they've had me in a box, and it was experiences, there were things that were happening, there were thoughts, emotions, feelings that I might not have necessarily said to them, or hadn't said to them, or expressed to them, so they just kind of put me in this box of thinking I was just this one particular type of person, until, I really came alive on certain instances with that, and it can really throw a person for a loop if they're not ready for that. And I've talked about this in other videos, so I'm not going to really rehash it in this, because I'm not trying to get too far off the topic. It can, in some instances, it can put a strain on the relationship when it depends on why that person was there in your life, or what the relationship is. Was this a relationship that it only succeeded, or it went as long as it was because you were funneling this information into me and my life, but now you're getting this, in your mind, blowback, because now I have a difference of opinion up on this, you're not handling this well, so this equal went round thing is just like, well, look here, I'm the big dog, I'm the one that's on top, you can't be telling me things. Like, that's why I said, it could be a humbling experience. So these are pills that we have to swallow for ourselves. So to get back to the topic of this video, that's what I'm talking about. That's one of my firsthand experiences, real life examples that I'm talking about putting people in a box can bring about conflict. And I've experienced it. I've done it as well. Maybe you've thought a person, I'll just give an example. Maybe you just thought that they were all laughs and giggles, a lot of silly behavior. They really don't take anything serious, and then they're imparting some knowledge to you. You find out firsthand, behind all this laughing and this smiling, these type of people are sitting behind the scenes, lost the word that I'm thinking about. They're sitting behind, observing everything that's going around them. They actually have a lot of insight into the things, just because they don't say much, and they just sit back and they smile and they're laughing, and they have some awesome advice, awesome insights upon things. But are you ready for that? So, back to the topic of this video. Like I said, those were some positive paths that I just went down, and I just wanted you to be able to take a positive spin from those things. Don't put people in a box. None of us are in a box. We're more than what just people see. There's a whole lot more to us. And the thing is, when you're coming into contact with new people and you're forging new relationships, people open up the more that they get to know you. Now, some people, they do vomit all the information up about them, and it's just like, I feel like I know everything about you in the first 5 or 10 minutes because you just told me all this information I don't know. Yeah, there are some people, but even they have sides to them. Like I said, we all have multiple layers to who we are. So don't put people in a box. Don't devolve them down to just 1 or 2 things that you observe up about them. If you're really interested in getting to know that person, get to know that person. Be open to learning something. Be open to learning something up about them. If you're about people and you're putting people first, put people first. When you're dealing with them, I'm not talking about putting people first just in everything that you're doing to where you're out of gas, but I'm talking about when you're taking that time and that energy and putting into people, think about them first. That's the topic of this video. In the meantime, if you hadn't already, hit the subscribe button. Follow me on my other social media, Facebook, Tumblr, Twitter, Instagram. Obviously, I'm on YouTube. This is where I'm doing the videos. If you have questions, send them to aim.kilimanjaro@gmail.com. I'll do my best to answer your question in a video. I'll leave your name out and all of that. Like I said, just give a general basis of what the email is about. So I'm not going to put all your business out there. Well, put the business out there that you're asking me to talk about in the email, but I'm not going to be talking about who you are and giving all those great details. Okay? In the meantime, stay encouraged. Avoid being discouraged. I'm Aim. You have a good one.